he shut the door. I turned and I was like that release, and then I just started crying. And I was like, at least you didn't see me cry.
Almost like he'd saved it like a surprise party. Like, I'm back and we're not together anymore. And I'd like made a 3-course meal, all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. You are watching Season with Salt, the weekly show on Christian dating on Salt's YouTube channel. And I, Lauren Windle, am joined by Jessica, life coach extraordinaire. We are going to be talking about how to be broken up with. Not how to break up with someone, how to be broken up with. Because you don't get much training on that. And I feel like sometimes we need a bit of training on that.
Would be helpful.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about breakups in general. Have you been broken up with? Have you broken up with someone?
So I've done both. I've had both. Most recently been broken up with twice in a row. So the first time was quite like a dramatic, emotional breakup.
Okay.
And then the other one was a cookie cutter breakup. It was very amicable, done with a lot of dignity on both sides, I felt. I walked away with my head held high.
Okay, so with the dramatic one...
Oh yeah, go on. I'm imagining it back.
Talk, because I've got a dramatic one in my mind as well, right? Yeah. Okay, so what mistakes do you feel like he made when it came to like setting up the breakup and blah, blah, blah?
So I think it had been in his mind for a while and he was kind of just like trying to find an excuse to do it. And in the end, we were talking, I think we'd come back from church or we were having a conversation about something to do with church, faith. I think he'd been to Alpha a few times and we had an argument about things which we just shouldn't have. It was just really stupid. All to do with my faith. I definitely think my faith was stronger than his. And in the end, he just said, this whole Christian thing has become too much.
Gosh.
Stormed out and walked out. And I was just in absolute disbelief. I was like, this cannot be happening. We'd been together at this point for like 2.5 years. I was like, this cannot be happening. So I thought it was just another one of those disagreements that we had. Another argument, fine. Then I sent him a passive aggressive message.
Of course.
Being like, well, if this is it, you should leave my house key. And he was like, I already did.
Oh no, that line.
Yeah.
I already did.
And I was just like, oh, he means it.
Oh,
and then I was like a bit angry. And then I was like, I can't picture my life without him. You know,
Yeah.
all of that.
Okay, so with my dramatic breakup, he had been away and was coming to spend the weekend with me, so I hadn't seen him for about a week. What I didn't know is that week of like solitary awayness was to work out whether we should be in a relationship. And he didn't tell me because he thought that would
save you something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, I'd be really anxious for that week, whatever. Yeah. And then he'd come back and he'd decided it was done. And it's almost like he'd saved it like a surprise party. Like, I'm back and we're not together anymore. And I'd like made a 3-course meal, all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. Yeah. How did you respond?
Very badly. I think I was not at the point of begging him to be like, we can make it work. But it was so hurtful because I was like, I can't picture my life without him. I just want to be with him.
So you did almost like offer a rebuttal. You almost like went in and said like, have you thought this through? I think this is this. I think that there's stuff we can work on here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so this is not my proudest moment because it went on for like a good 2 months.
Okay.
And it then eventually got to the point where something within me was just like, you know what? I'm okay. I actually don't need to be with him. And that's when he then was like, please take me back. I made a huge mistake. I want to be with you. And it was just so toxic.
That is always the way, isn't it? Oh,
and in the end, I like blocked him and I was like, please do not speak to me again.
Okay, so let's talk about the healthier equivalent. Yes. So you're dating someone for a while and what's the scenario? Set it up. Paint me a picture.
Go on. But yes, it'd been about 6 months and he sat me down. Well, before, and this is the thing I find weird, where we had dinner, we had a few drinks, it was really nice. And then after dinner, he sat me down.
No.
And in my mind, I was like, why not just do it when I first came? These are all of the things I love about you, and you're so wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah.
Don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
But I promise you're so wonderful, and I really like you and value you as a person.
Okay, so how did you respond to that one?
So I initially rebutted a tiny bit because I was like, I don't really understand where this has come from. And actually, I kind of offered like another solution of, okay, well now actually you have moved to London. We're much closer. I thought this was a good opportunity. And he was like, no, I just don't see it working.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. Kept myself very composed, very together. So I was like, okay, I'm going to head off. I remember he gave me a hug, and I was like, please don't touch me. And then I literally...
Wait, did you say, please don't touch me?
No, I literally...
Oh, right, in your head, you're like,
fine.
Okay.
And then I remember him, like, shutting a door, and it was such pathetic fallacy. It was, like, bucketing it down with rain. It was very dramatic. I didn't have an umbrella. And he was like, let me get you a taxi. And I was like, I don't want your help.
Oh, I would have taken the taxi.
Oh,
least you can do.
I love the drama. I was like, I can walk home in the rain.
Is it raining?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I loved it. And he shut the door. I turned and I was like, like that release. And then I just started crying. And I was like, at least you didn't see me cry.
Okay, so this is interesting, right? I went out and did a little Instagram poll, okay, to see what people think about that, because that is actually one of the questions I asked. So, if you're enjoying what you're watching, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. In this scenario, you're the one being broken up with. Is it ever okay to try and persuade the person that they're making a mistake? Okay, what percentage of people said no and what percentage of people said yes?
I would say 70% said no.
57% said no and 43 said yes. So it's not quite 50-50, but it's getting there. Those people think that a breakup is not necessarily a breakup, but like an open conversation where you can say, I disagree, because I think by the time someone's made that decision, they've made that decision. Yeah. And actually the best way to respect yourself is just to leave it. Yeah. Whereas if it was like, there are some things in our relationship that don't feel quite right, I'd love to discuss them with you, then because you're still building something. And
I think those are almost in a way, two completely different conversations. And I do think in some way, people can go into it thinking, I'm going to break up with this person. And maybe it could turn into that conversation. But also I think if someone said to you, I don't want to be with you anymore, yes, you have to respect yourself, but also they're putting a boundary in place because they don't want to be with you. Yeah. So also respect them and, respect that they know what they want and what they don't want. Yeah. And it's about, it's just anything like to do with boundaries. They put a boundary in place. They don't want to see you anymore and they don't want to speak to you anymore, probably is also what they're going to say. So respect that.
Okay, the next question I asked was, if you feel upset, disappointed, hurt or angry, is it healthy to express that? Or is it better to be straight-faced and then take those feelings to your mates? And you waited for the door to close and then you cried. Yeah. What percentage... Wait, hang on. Answer the question first.
Well, so I actually responded to that. And I think I said, no, take it to your mates.
Okay. I think to a certain extent you can say, like, this isn't how I hope this would go.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that to actually express the emotion, the passion, I think it's better to take that to your friends. 81% of people disagree with us. Yeah, 81% were like, tell him you're angry, tell him you're hurt, tell him you're disappointed, tell him you're upset. Wow. Are we wrong? Maybe we're wrong.
I think also that really comes down to personal preference, obviously, but also around the way in which you've built safety within that relationship. Yeah. Because I'm someone who very much, if someone's broken up with me, they're basically saying, I don't want to be your safe place for your emotions anymore. Yes. And so I inevitably will then say, okay, well, I'm going to take all of these emotions that I have and take them to my safe place, which is probably my friends. Yeah. I think it's different when... Oh, this is what I find so difficult. People are like, but let's still be friends.
I don't think that's a thing.
No, me neither.
I think...
Maybe in a few months, years, whatever.
And I think it depends how long. If you've been on like a handful of dates, then yeah, sure. But I think if you have been in a relationship...
It's so hard.
Totally.
I have a question to ask you.
You've got a question for me?
Yeah. It's about modern dating.
Oh, okay.
Do you think...
Stop it.
Ghosting counts as a breakup and you should manage it in the same way that you'd manage a breakup?
If you get ghosted, I think that in life you will be presented with things where people treat you badly, and you don't always get answers to that. So it's a case of finding a way of processing and moving on from that without having any contact with the other person, and that is really tough. But I think it's about recognizing your own value and actually recognizing that that's how someone treats people. Thank God you know. Literally, thank God you know now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone breaks up with you badly, I think, and you are really hurt. Let's say that this is going to be an upsetting, it will be a process for you to work through. My feeling is to be open and don't pretend like you wanted it anyway. You know, so don't be that guy who was like, oh, that's weird because I was 2 seconds behind you. You smell. You know? Like, do say like, okay, this isn't what I wanted, but I respect that you've thought this through. Thank you for communicating that with me. That's it. And I don't think you should try and spend too much time with that person. I don't think you should establish a friendship or anything like that. You should just let them leave and then take that to your friends and family. And actually the same goes even if they break up with you badly or they break up with you well, you know, it's harder to do if they break up with you badly.
Yeah. All that really matters at the end of this is, did you act with integrity? Did you act with dignity? Did you act in a way that, you know, with kindness and compassion?
And it's not embarrassing to feel those things, to feel upset.
Exactly.
There's no shame in that. And then just, you know, allowing yourself time to feel hurt. Don't throw yourself back into something else. Don't chuck yourself on a dating app straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
Be really gentle with yourself. Spend time with friends. Eat a load of ice cream. Do some sport. Whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself.
I think especially after a breakup, irrelevant of if it was good or bad, you feel a bit lost and wondering of, well, we had these plans together which we aren't doing. And it's about being like, it's okay to feel sad and mourn that, but also at some point you've got to remember that you are a person without them, and you've got to have fun and do the you stuff that you would do anyway.
Totally. Oh, so good. You should be like a life coach or something. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. We have a weekly show coming out every Friday, so like and subscribe so you don't miss it. See you next time.